Hi, Graciebear. So this is the story of when you were born. So when me and Mommy met and got together and everything, we were poor, poor, dirt poor. And so, what's the thing to do when you're poor? Have a baby. So uh, we we got pregnant with you, unexpected, and that is a problem when you're poor. But Mom was a champ. She's always been a champ. And so, even from the beginning, she would always do anything to make sure that you were well taken care of. Like when she was pregnant with you, uh, she would work out every morning before work on a stack of phone books and cans, and she would like do step ups onto the phone books and lift the soup cans for weights. Maybe that's why you're so athletic now. But we also didn't really have a doctor for you or anything like that because we didn't have any money. We didn't have anything. I was laid off from Diebold and was going to school and stuff like that. So no money, but still putting effort into it. Um, so Mom, gets bigger. You know, has this nice belly, all these great things going, and then it's time to have a baby. So we go to the hospital, and again, we don't really even have a doctor. Um, but things didn't, like, we're not going all that well. Mom was pushing and pushing and pushing, and, was worn out. I forget how long we were there, like days, over a day at least, that Mom was pushing and trying, and I'm, trying to be supportive and, feed her ice, basically. I'm eating cookies by the dozens, but she can only eat ice. So, win for me, loss for her. So she's been pushing for days, and things are bad because actually the problem was she's pushing really hard, but your head was a little bit too big, and so there was a delay. So Mom's pushing, but you're stuck, and it's hours, and finally a doctor comes. And the way it works when you don't really have a doctor or have money, the doctor who does the delivery is whoever happens to be on call. And the doctor on call happened to be one of the best doctors in the whole city, in the whole area, because he is the one who teaches doctors how to deliver babies. So he's good. I mean, I didn't know that, but he's good. So he comes in the room, and I think he was from Kenya or Uganda? Kenya. So he comes in, and all of a sudden, like, things start happening. Like we'd been sitting in the room exhausted, like weeping and sweating for 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, like, he comes in, lights flip on, nurses come in, other doctors come in, like everything starts to happen. And he says, I know you've been pushing a long time, but we have to do something now. We can't keep having this pressure on the baby's head. So we're going to try one thing, and then we're going to do a C-section if that doesn't work. So at that point, it was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's keep this moving. So he gets these two huge things, like swords, like two curved metal things, and I was like, "Ooh, what are you gonna do with that?" So he takes these two things. They're called forceps, and he like twists them both and crosses them like scissors and hooks your head, and then starts to scooch and scooch and scooch and scooch and pull and pull, nice and gentle, and then all of a sudden, boop, out you come. And it was so cool because when I saw you, you had Mom's nose exactly. You hadn't even taken a breath yet, and you looked just like Mom, which was awesome because she worked her butt off the whole time. And she ate well, and she worked out well, and she put everything she had into that delivery, and it was totally awesome. Totally awesome. But now we have to name you, and we couldn't. We couldn't really come up with names for you. And so, as dad, I like to name, to give you your name. And because we had you so early, and we weren't married, and we were poor, and all those things, I felt like the name that really spoke to me for you was Grace. Because having you was such a miracle, and we would need grace we would need grace from God to be able to provide for you and to make everything right as best we could with our situation. And that's what you've always symbolized to me, was the grace from God, that in any situation that He is there and listening and helping for whatever we need when we need Him. I love you, Graciebear.